Welcome, folks, to our new show. It's about your paycheck. What up, Walt? How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm excited for this. I'm looking forward to it. This is really going to be helpful to a lot of people out there who are employees and whoever gets paid. I think
Yep.
this is really going to be something that really empowers them.
There you go. I'm glad you landed on that word, empowers. Like, tell me what really got you excited about doing this show? We already do a payroll show. For those of you who are not familiar with us, and unless you're a payroll pro, you probably not, and not even all of them. But anywho, we do a payroll show now, strictly for payroll folks. And then just along that journey, we flipped the script and was like, man, so I got some inspiration of why I really want to do this. What about you? What's really motivating you to do this?
But some of the things, I'll give a recent example that I saw. I was on MSN.com and there was a young lady who posted about her paycheck and then what her next meal was going to be. And she had a tortilla and I think some like jelly or something like that, like some squeezed jelly.
You told me about it.
And
Yep.
she wrapped it up and she was like, how can I live off of this? And so it's seeing things like that. And then people that I'm familiar with not being educated about their pay.
Yep.
And like really not knowing how it works for them. So that kind of really hit on me for a little bit, right? And you have some interesting stories that yourself, Brian. Like,
Yeah,
what are some of your
for
inspirations?
sure. One of the things that we just talked about on the show, on our payroll show, we came across is 60% of all Americans live paycheck to paycheck, right? 60% of Americans, 250 million Americans that get W-2s every year, probably another 150, the 1099s, right? And we more than half of us are living paycheck to paycheck. So that was, and I think I've been there all my life. That's big, man. And I've always wanted to change that for myself and my family and whatnot.
But let's talk about some of the personal stuff, right? Because this is why we did it. It's for the personal aspects of it, right? I know you told me some stories about family that's, hey, brought you
Oh,
stuff and
oh,
stuff like that,
absolutely. Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Yes. I was in New York recently, beginning of summer, and shout out to my man E, the fan of the show, mad support on the payroll show. But he's just like, what paycheck, yo, paycheck. So he brought it up and was like, yo, I have a question about my paycheck. And I was like, thinking he's such a comedian. I kind of brushed. He's like, no, for real. And I was like, yeah, no doubt, yeah, but and I'm like, yo. Then we left each other and then came back, and he had his stub with him. He was like, yo, boom, I got it. I was serious. I was like, oh snap, he's really serious.
Yeah.
And he showed me, and then basically his pay period, if it was there, it wasn't clearly defined. So he was unsure about what hours it represented, what he was getting paid, what hours were they for, what weeks were they for, what days were they for. He was legit, I don't know. And I was like, bro, you have to know that's part, it has to be in. And New York has pay stub rules. We're going to talk about some of that. We'll touch on it here. But just one of those things. My daughter, like, she was talking, 19 years old, new to the workforce, right? And she was like, had questions with her girlfriend and whatnot. And I was like, oh my goodness, man. I talked to a colleague, and his young sons were like, yo, my kids don't know anything about their check, man. He was so excited about us doing this. He's like, man, that's going to be great. These
Yeah.
young folks don't know what's going on. And it's very basic stuff that we as payroll professionals take it for granted because it's our life. It's second nature to
Yes.
us. And so we really take it for granted. So that's been the personal push, and just, yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. Before you
No
before
doubt.
you continue on, I wanted to because for people with their paycheck, it's personal. It's their livelihood. It
The
impacts their
most
life,
personal, the most
right?
personal, the most intimate thing.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I want it to resonate with people who are viewing this to realize, hey, it's about you. It's
Yeah.
about you as the consumer, the employee, the contractor, whatever type of industry you're in, whatever type
Yep.
of work you do. This is about you and empowering you with knowledge. And because we have real life experience through
Yeah.
our profession as payroll processors and through our personal lives through the people that are close to us.
Yep.
So I'm sorry for cutting you off there.
Oh
So
no, you good. You good. That's exactly what I want to get out of you, man. It's just because I know it's for both of us, right? We come from a place where it's just like this stuff, the dollars and cents mean everything. You know what I mean? $20 changed my life back in the day. You know what
yeah.
I mean? It's super personal. It's super granular. Like it's just intimate, and any little thing we can teach somebody to save some money from this and bet like is worth it for me. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. All right. So I know we left off on 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So what's the
Yes.
next piece you want to touch on?
The real quick, it's just again these are little things that have inspired me. Adrian Resto, he's a fellow payroll professional that we had on our other show, and man,
Hello, this is Michael Vandervoort from the Drive Through HR podcast, where we discuss ideas, trends, and activities that impact HR, talent, HR technology, in the workplace. Our focus is on expanding knowledge and igniting curiosity as we hear directly from people who are shaping the future of the HR industry. Join us.
what a passion for payroll he had, man. This guy, he said, first of all, he said payroll is life, right? Payroll is life. And I even thought like when I first heard it, I was like, all right, this guy is taking it too far. But what he meant by that was what he does, what we do as payroll professionals and getting those paychecks out to people impacts their lives, right? They get their check and they're able to go live and do, right? So he's right. Payroll is life. It
Yes.
drives life. It fuels
Yes.
life. So that's what,
Yes.
like, just that thought from him, and how he was so like, my hands have touched and paid over X. He had the number, like the number of transactions he did in his life. Yo, it was an amazing thing to see how personal and intimate he took it. He took it to a new level for me. You know what I mean? And again, is an inspiration for this. And shout out to Adrian Resto, man. I hope maybe we can have him on the show too and have him share his passion with it. And that led me to just do a little bit of research. And of course, the US has a huge income gap. According to the World Bank data, the United States experiences a high income inequality compared to other developed nations. And it's a significant gap between high earners and low earners. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And another one was our checks, just like how folks always compare check. Oh, what would you make? Would you make? Da, da, da. And I want to, as a payroll person, I want to urge folks to be careful with that. Yes, there's what are they calling it now? Wage transparency and income transparency
Yeah.
and all that stuff. That's cool, man. That's great. And that really is good for when you got to go to market and get a job. But when you're at a
Yeah.
job and you talking to your coworker, you should not be like, yo, here's my pay stub. Let me see your pay stub. How do they compare? No, because there's very personal things that happen there. So that's another motivation of why I want to do this, is just really, again, empowerment, right? Empowering people with that knowledge of their paychecks. And it starts right there, right? Like before we can do anything with our money, you got to understand what that is. And I'm gonna pass it off to you here, and you tell us like, what is that? What is a paycheck?
Yeah, but before I get into that,
Sure, of course.
well said stuff, and it reminds me of stories that you and I have experienced, right, as professionals in the payroll industry, and we've gotten a call from an employee who was short paid or didn't receive a paycheck, crying because they're like, I don't know how I'm going to feed my family. I'm a single mom. I'm a single parent. I have to do this. I have to do that. And to your point about what Adrian said, payroll is life. That's literally life for them. Like feeding their loved ones,
Yep.
their newborns, their little ones. Like that's life for them. And if it's not right, if their check is not right, that can throw their whole life off for a loop, right?
Yeah.
What is a paycheck? By definition, a paycheck is a check for salary or wages made out to an employee. In layman's terms, a payment that is a result of work you complete for an employer. A paycheck is a form of payment issued by an employer that an employee receives for work they have performed during a specific pay period.
Yep. Specific pay
So,
period.
yes. So, paycheck, right? Who's entitled to the paycheck? Or in other words, do you have to be classified as an employee to receive a paycheck? The short answer is what, Brian?
No.
No,
No.
right? You technically don't have to be classified as an employee to receive payment for your work or your services, right? Because there's freelancers out there, independent contractors, some other type of workers, all those different things that you may do that you receive paid for your services, right?
Yep.
That's something to really consider and think about, that when you think about who's entitled to receive a paycheck. What responsibilities does your employer have for your paycheck? Your employer is responsible for ensuring accurate and timely payment of your wages, withholding the applicable taxes, and providing necessary documentation, such as pay stubs, which Brian is going to touch on a little bit later, right? The difference between the paycheck and the pay stub, right?
Yep.
So your employer must, I repeat, must adhere to all applicable federal, state, and local regulations and taxes regarding your pay. So your employer is supposed to do right by you at the end of the day. What do you guys say?
This is where it could get scary for folks, right? Because it can be like, dang, I think something's wrong on my check, but oh man, I need this job and I need my next check. I don't want to give them any reason to fire me because, yo, this is better than nothing. And dang, you know what I mean?
Man, how many times have we heard this, Brian? Like, I'm on the phone with a manager that I'm processing payroll for, and they say, oh, this employee is always complaining. This employee is always saying this. This employee is always doing that. And that's because that employee is on top of their pay. Right? Instead of looking at it from a different way, that employee is always analyzing what's going on with their pay stub. But to others, it looks like, oh, this person is irritating as hell. God dang, they get on my nerves, man.
And folks, you can't get fired for asking about your pay. You know what I mean? And my point was, like, if you're really scared, you can anonymously call other agencies and file complaints, whether it's your state or the federal government, Department of Labor's. There is a way for you to get some help. You know what I mean? And have some agency drill down on the company anonymously. They won't find out. You know what I mean? And if it's that bad, like, there are methods. And at some point in this show, we'll put some resources out there for folks and a better direction of how to get there. But when you said that part, it was like, oh man, folks, you know what I mean? And yo, we're going to teach you all about some stuff that you're going to be like, oh crap, I'm a victim.
Yeah.
And then what do I do? You know what I mean? The first thing is call your payroll person, because they're just like us. And guess what? If we'll have that conversation, right? You approach them right, you say the right things, you do the right thing, they're going to be able to help, and they'll be thankful. If something's going wrong, they're going to be thankful. You know what I mean?
Yep. The last part before I hand it off to Brian, what responsibilities do I have as an employee for my own paycheck?
I like that one.
So one of the best things you could do is educate yourself, right? Knowing your rights as an employee, knowing how your pay works, knowing your responsibilities to accurately punch in and punch out, to make sure that you're signing your time card. Case in point, in this example, if you clock in and clock out of a time and attendance system, and your manager is not having you sign off on your hours before payroll is due, that could be something for you to look into, right? Because how do you know you're being paid properly?
Yep.
That's just an example. Just gave you all free numbers.
Great one. You know? Great one.
So you want to make sure that you're adhering to the company policies and procedures and providing all necessary information and documentation. So another aspect of this that may impact you, that may impact your taxes, which is a little bit different. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we should.
But updating your address, right? So this is how it can impact you. If you live in a state that withholds local tax.
Oh my gosh, I got a story.
Right? So if you move from one zip code to another zip code, your local might change, and
Yep. Or states,
you
if
know,
if you're we're living like on a border of somewhere, and you can
yes,
easily move across the border and still work in another state, the tri-state area, right? There's always these
yes,
tri-state
perfect.
areas, and so yep.
So those are examples of responsibilities that you have as an
Yes.
employee. Because when you go to file your taxes, you could be hit up later for some missed taxes that weren't done. So what do you guys think?
Well, we had
Hey, we're the payroll baddies, and our mission is to make payroll fun and relatable.
And call out industry when we hear it.
You gotta call it out. You gotta call it like you see it. But we also gotta shine a light on all those unsung payroll heroes out there, making sure we get paid.
Yeah, those are the real payroll baddies out there, and we love sharing their stories and showing them love.
With gold chain and everything, baby.
By the way, SAP is the best payroll out there, and if you don't like it,
Get out.
or I had, I don't remember even where it was. By the way, folks, Walt and I have worked together over the years at different places doing payroll, by the way. I had somebody one year, and this always comes up come W-2 time. No, first of all, nobody looks at your checks, folks. The number one thing here, educate yourself. It means look at your pay stub. You have to look at your pay stub, right? So many people we talk to don't look at pay stubs. Our customers are you all, everybody that gets a paycheck, and they don't look at them. With that being said, come W-2 time, they got to do the taxes, and they don't look. But I had a guy paying, he paid a state he didn't live in for a whole year.
Yep.
It wasn't a lot by check. It wasn't a lot, but at the end of the year, it was a nice amount of money. You know what I'm saying? And for the whole year, why? Because he wasn't looking at his pay stub all year. So yes, perfect segue. And I'm going to talk about the pay stub, because you're like, well, wait, Walt just talked about the pay stub. No, Walt technically talked about the payment, a job, an employer or whatever, a deal you make with anybody. Could be a bag of oranges because you said, hey, I'm going to do this for that. That's a payment. So Walt was talking about the transaction, that monetary transaction, right? But the monetary transaction requires, in most states, a document involved, a receipt of payment, which we call a pay stub, right? Now, if you get a live check, it's right there at the bottom, right? But you don't pay attention because all you want to do is rip it off and go cash it. Nowadays, you're just signing it and you're taking a picture, click, you putting that in the drawer, and you didn't even look at the stub. You didn't even look at it. You just throw, boom. We all look at the net amount. We're like, yep, that's about right. Boom.
All right. Yep.
It's about right. Boom. So the pay stub is exactly that. It's a paycheck or a pay advice is a document provided to employees by their employer each time they receive a wage. Now, here's the trick. The United States does not have a single universal template for pay stubs. They're all some things. There are some basic elements that should be on every check, and I'll touch them real quick. But that's the key. That's why this show will exist, because the United States doesn't have a single universal template. So state to state, and on top of that, the state regulates what goes on the pay stub. So, for instance, California is very heavily regulated. Michigan, Walt is in Michigan, I'm in Florida, right? Michigan has requirements. They have about 8 points of requirements for a pay stub. Florida only has 4, because we don't have state income tax in Florida, which is a downside because there's no regulatory agency helping out employees, as opposed to California, who is very employee-centric, but a ton of taxes. So these things, folks, we're going to talk about it. Got plenty of time. And you can see right there, just in that one statement, right? You probably, what the fuck is he talking about? So anyway, a pay stub should have your employee information, your jobs information, your pay period, your earnings, your deductions. The net pay means what your take home is. Folks usually write your take home pay. And then it might have some year-to-date information. It might have, well, your tax withholding should be there as well. and it might have some additional information that's helpful. But there's again,
Like
there's
what?
no
Like what?
uh, but there's no like PTO, like your PTO
Okay.
balance, but there's no state
Mhm.
regulation for it unless you live in Cali. Cali requires that, right? So these are
Mhm.
little nuggets that we want you guys to be empowered with, to be fluent and savvy with, like your state laws or lack thereof, right? Because then you have a challenge. If you're in a state where that doesn't really have laws, then you're left to the mercy of the company and what they want to do. But then you have more of a voice. You can, anywho, I'm going down a rabbit hole.
No, you're right.
And then again, state by state, these requirements change. And I covered the Florida, Michigan example. Some states have specific regulations, others don't. Some states require electronic
Mhm.
pay stubs, others don't.
Yep.
That's we just covered. That's it. That's paycheck versus pay stub. We covered the gist of what this show will be about. We're going to drill into all these little things that we touched on. If you're like,
Mhm.
holy crap, these guys just blew my mind. Yes, it's exactly right. And that's the point. But we're going to help you, right? We're going to drop little nuggets here and there, help you guys out, help you learn, help you try to teach you what we know, right?
Absolutely. And look, we know that it's a lot of information, right?
Yeah.
There's so much information out there on the internet, on TikTok, on social media. There's so much information. So you want to always, some tips, if we can give you any tip, is to listen to trusted sources
Yes.
that are out there, right? There's plenty of people that are saying this based on their experience with their pay or their pay stub, right? And so there may be a group of people that can relate to this one person that's divulging this information.
Mhm.
But you may have a unique situation with
Yep.
your pay that they're not speaking to, and you might be confused about. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
there are trusted sources out there that you can go to. This is one of them. Make sure you tune in here.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have certified payroll pros here on the show and who know the industry, and
Yep.
we're gonna have real people who are just employees and come and sit down so you can really realize and understand, hey, they have real people on the show and they're trying to get knowledge, right? They're speaking about their inexperience when it comes to their pay stub, because there's so much that is not taught, right?
Yes.
There's so much that's not taught in school, in different levels of education.
Their
That's not taught
companies
to you
not teaching
about your
anything.
stuff.
Yep.
Right? Great point. The companies aren't educating the employees, right?
Nope.
They'll train you how to do your job,
Mm-hmm.
but they might not train you to understand how your pay works. And this is what this is for.
Absolutely. And we're guilty of it. We assume, right, that our customers have some baseline of information. And it's not really until I get the young folks that they're more honest and authentic about not knowing. And I think maybe the older folks they're probably like, oh, I don't want to seem like I don't know. I should know, and you know what I mean? And hey, look, that's what this is for. You don't want to ask your payroll person? Listen to the show.
Yes.
And then we'll give you enough that now you can go to the payroll person feeling a little bit more confident about what you're asking about and what it is.
There's so many things that you don't understand that impact, not just in payroll, right? We have a podcast that's just about payroll, but there's aspects of HR that may impact your paycheck. We may have somebody from HR come in here and speak to you about the things that you can do as an employee to help prepare yourself.
Yep.
And better yourself when it comes to knowing the employee handbook, reading that. You know, like sometimes you get that from your employer, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to sign this acknowledgement and done.
Yep.
Because there's so much in there, right?
Yeah, that's part of it, because those rules and regulations can impact your paycheck. I just thought of one.
I'd like to introduce the Boom Band Showcase. My name is Jeff Taylor. I'm the host of the show. I'm the founder of Monster.com and Boom Band. This is a podcast about job seekers. They're struggling right now. The ghosted jobs, the black hole, everything is challenging. What we want to do is create real stories, get them talking about their superpowers, have you see what they're really like, because you're going to want to hire them. Give me a sign that you love your life.
The rule of you have to work the day before and the day after a holiday to get paid for the holiday.
Yep.
That's not in every company, but you won't know unless you read your employee manual, or now it's digital, right? So it's no excuse. You should at least be skimming through it. You should be like searching through your employee. Let me skim through this and look at the areas that are going to impact my pay and impact me keeping the job. Guess what? You getting a laptop, you're not supposed to put Netflix on it. They find it, you get fired. It's in the manual. You didn't read it, you're fired. Like, folks, right? So we love this opportunity to say, hey, it's about your paycheck, because we can talk about a lot of things that impact your paycheck.
There's so much. There's so much.
I just forgot about three things I wanted to say in trying to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh shit, nugget.
We're not going to give away all the nuggets in this one.
Not in one thing.
But that shows our passion for it, right, Brian?
Yes.
We're passionate about this. We want to give you all the information. We want to pour into you. Go ahead. No,
I was just going to say, that was one of the things I forgot. You said, hey, we're going to bring you pros. And there's a lot of clowns out there talking. We're on LinkedIn. You can go look at our pedigree on LinkedIn. We are payroll for real with this, right? This is how our paycheck is, how we get our paychecks. So we're official district. Like, we take this very seriously.
Yeah.
And so we're not just, we have no gain from it other than to help you folks, right? Just like, our gain is helping somebody, is if we can empower somebody to go be better at, right? And it comes back to that empowerment, because that's what we thrive off on our payroll podcast, is helping payroll people. And it just clicked. There's another great payroll professional out there, Gerard Hall, and he really planted the seed for us on this consumer education part, because he's like, yo, companies don't do enough. Companies don't do enough to educate us about our paychecks. You know what I mean? And you would think, oh, it's payroll. Is it? Not really, because we're busy just getting you that paycheck. You know what I mean?
Or if the company does have tips and stuff like that, it's not delivered in such a way that I want to be careful, right? Because I want to be careful about what I say for companies, right?
No doubt.
It's not as impactful. The information that's sourced, right?
Yeah.
A person's not gonna. You send somebody an email with a bunch of attachments, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's just from my job."
Yes, and folks get scared. Jobs get scared. And think about it again. Shout out to Gerard, because he challenged us, right? He was like, "Yo, I'm tired of saying I can't help you. I'm not a CPA. I can't help you. I don't do taxes. I can't comment on blah blah blah." He was tired. He was like, "Man, I'm tired of that. Because we can help a little bit. We can help. Even you, we got worried. You got worried doing this. Hey, we need disclaimers and da-da-da. Yeah, we probably would, depending on what we say. Hey, folks, we're not, I don't know what it is yet, but we will disclaim as accordingly as we go along. Because right now we haven't said anything other than you need to read your pay stub, and here's how we're going to help you.
We're not giving you legal advice.
We're not giving you. There you go. There's your disclaimer. We're not giving you legal advice, right? It's just a knowledge for your own. Go do the research. We're going to give you enough to go be dangerous with it and go pull and tug on things. If you want to go and learn more, we'll give you the directionally correct way to go and do that. So yeah, man, folks, I just hope you are as excited as we are. We can't wait to just keep giving you more. Again, we have so much to share. We are official sources. We have over 40 years of payroll experience between the two of us. So you are in great hands, and come along for the ride. Yeah, man. What else, bro?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, I'll stay tuned.
Yeah,
stay involved. Yep. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're not just going to be throwing information at you. This is going to be something that can really vibe and connect with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Stay tuned. And we want to hear from you. At the end of the day, this is about you. This is about your pay. This is about empowering you. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you want to see. We're all over the internet with social platforms. You can access us on YouTube. You can listen to us. You can watch us. Whatever you want to do, however you learn, let us know, and we'll bring it to you that way.
Word. Love it.
All right.
Yep. Great, man. Thank you, brother. Thanks, everybody. We love you. Peace.